Baldoni and Blake Lively. It is heating up. It is not ending. Baldoni now reportedly set to take legal action against Lively.
Sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Justin Baldoni has stepped forward amid widespread attention on the circumstances surrounding Blake Lively being taken into custody after an incident in which she allegedly confronted him in a manner that rapidly escalated. Private dialogue escalated to the point of a physical conflict that drew law enforcement intervention. Once the confrontation reached that threshold, an arrest was made, propelling the situation into a realm far removed from Lively's usual brand of warmth and humor. Justin Baldoni's reaction, as described in the legal filing, appears remarkably steady given the dramatic nature of the event. References to his immediate collaboration with officials suggest he offered full cooperation. The text also describes him as someone who recognized the gravity of the occurrence, yet wished to resolve it with the dignity that has long characterized his professional and personal commitments. One segment indicates that he willingly provided information and documentation, aiming to substantiate the scope of what happened without intensifying any animosity. Central to the text is the concept of tangible harm. In discussing reputational damage, the filing specifically points out how quickly negative attention in the public sphere can overshadow philanthropic contributions and creative achievements. Baldoni's track record of positive projects and heartfelt appeals for genuine conversation stands as a counterpoint to the charged environment. This unexpected development has drawn intense focus from those familiar with both entertainers, prompting continual discussion about how two individuals typically seen as role models for positivity could have reached such a turbulent point. Lively, best known for a vibrant social media presence and charitable endeavors, now faces unprecedented scrutiny. Meanwhile, Baldoni has provided a reaction consistent with his well-known calm demeanor, even as newly surfaced legal documentation highlights the profound impact of these events on both parties. The most striking aspect of this unfolding situation centers on information presented in an official filing that outlines Baldoni's decision to seek a formal resolution. According to key passages from these documents, he is identified as the initiating party in a lawsuit that details a dispute spiraling beyond a routine clash. The text indicates that emotional and reputational strains are at stake, compelling him to pursue redress through structured legal measures. Though many have always associated him with empathy and open-hearted communication, his willingness to utilize official channels reflects a belief that this altercation transcended what ordinary dialogue could remedy. Baldoni's perspective emerges with a mixture of composure and concern. Multiple points in the documentation emphasize that he considered every possible avenue to settle the matter privately, only to conclude that there was little chance of a restorative outcome without professional intervention. He is said to be requesting compensation for hardships that included interference with ongoing commitments and deep-seated worry about potential setbacks in public perception. Those reading the text have noted a clear desire to protect his personal and professional standing while refraining from framing Lively in a vindictive light. Instead, the materials portray a strong emphasis on resolving the clash in a manner that respects ethical boundaries. The origin of this conflict lies in an encounter described as far more serious than typical industry disagreements. According to the filing, tension described in the filing. This underscores the severity of the situation by emphasizing that such an incident could undermine not only personal relationships, but also the larger platform used to promote constructive discourse. Even so, the account does not depict Baldoni as seeking revenge. Rather, the statements in the official materials read as a measured pursuit of a legal path that addresses consequences for everyone involved. Another part of the filing expresses concern about long-range impacts on potential partnerships, brand collaborations, and general trust within entertainment circles. This perspective implies that beyond immediate emotional weight, there is a practical dimension that might affect filming contracts, charitable campaigns, and broader opportunities tied to each individual's public image. The question of how Lively might respond to the lawsuit remains unanswered in the material currently available. Past interviews have shown her adept at turning serious topics into moments of levity, but the magnitude of this dispute appears to preclude the casual approach she often adopts with fans. Sources close to her, as reflected in the legal text, have not publicly commented on the matter, fueling a sense that direct statements might not emerge until the case moves further along. The likelihood of a negotiated settlement is alluded to in certain passages that mention private mediation as a possible route. dispute. Still, no official timeline has been provided, and every stage of the process continues under heightened scrutiny. In the meantime, Baldoni maintains a public profile that, at face value, seems unchanged, had been building for some time, possibly involving creative ambitions or philanthropic involvement in overlapping fields. Both Lively and Baldoni have garnered recognition for their charitable outreach, which typically reinforces cooperative efforts among like-minded individuals. The abrupt turn toward a direct confrontation stands at odds with their usual reputations. Nonetheless, the description of Lively's behavior in the official complaint asserts that a private argument escalated into conduct severe enough that legal authorities were contacted, resulting in an arrest that stunned many of their followers. Baldoni's reaction, as reflected in various references linked to his viewpoint, underscores his commitment to measured responses. He appears determined not to escalate the conflict further through hostile comments or public accusation.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent, and they were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what? Oh, no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
His digital content still highlights mindful living, charitable updates, and collaborative efforts with other creatives. This continuity may indicate a desire to keep professional and philanthropic commitments intact despite the upheaval. The focus on forward momentum contrasts sharply with the seriousness of the allegations in the filing, underscoring the possibility that he aims to preserve the positive aspects of his public work while addressing the dispute through formal means rather than protracted public sparring. Observers frequently mention that Lively's arrest stands as a stark departure from her previous track record, which never hinted at disruptive behavior. The official text describing the confrontation indicates that various circumstances converged at once, resulting in a surprise to many who believed the two celebrities held each other in mutual esteem, or at least cordial acceptance. The notion that the situation progressed so drastically raises questions about pressures within high-profile careers, where personal differences can balloon under the weight of overlapping schedules, philanthropic interests, or creative collaborations. The filing also notes an environment where tensions apparently simmered without early intervention. Baldoni's reaction, representing a conflict resolution stance, attempted to prevent escalation, though the specifics of his efforts remain vague in the partial information accessible. The consistent theme is that he remained calm, documented the confrontation, and cooperated thoroughly with all subsequent procedures. This stands as further evidence of how he strives to align his actions with the constructive values he often endorses in public dialogues. Meanwhile, speculation lingers over what might have catalyzed Lively's approach. She has regularly supported causes focusing on children's welfare, environmental conservation, and community empowerment, achievements typically celebrated by the media. The concept of her involvement in any heated dispute that reached law enforcement contradicts the public admiration she generally inspires. The official filing refers to a cascade of communication breakdowns, culminating in a critical exchange in which frustration apparently overwhelmed any attempt at neutrality. When authorities arrived, the situation had already crossed a threshold that left no alternative but to take formal steps. The aftermath, at least from Baldoni's standpoint, involves seeking restitution for personal strain and reputational challenges. The text stresses the intricacy of balancing dignity with the necessity of ensuring that boundaries were not dismissed. This underscores his commitment to fair proceedings, while also indicating that he felt genuine harm had been done.